Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel, and this is your tip of the week. This is a wooden piece that I bought at Walmart, and it's of a little gnome, and usually with these they paint and use them in whatever craft project they're working on. Here is another gnome that's metal that I got at Dollar Tree. So I'm going to show you how you can take things like this and make it into a pattern that you can use in an applique project. So if you have a photocopier printer, it's easier to use that. Now you could trace around, then just sort of mimic drawing this part and here. It's a little more difficult to trace around this when it's multi-pieced like this. So I took this and put it in my photocopier printer face down. The first copy that came out, it was a little hard to see some of the lines. So I took a piece of cardboard, laid it on top. So I put this face down, then laid the cardboard on top to give it a darker background. So you can see the background is much darker now. So if you are having that problem with your photocopier printer, then just place something dark behind it. Now I made 2 copies. So the second one was so that I could cut out the nose. The first one, I cut out these 3 pieces. Then I retraced them onto cardstock. And I recommend doing that on cardstock because it's much easier tracing around this onto your fabric because it doesn't move. Whereas if you have paper and you're trying to trace around it, it's going to move around and it's going to be more difficult and not quite as accurate. Now this is a fusible webbing. This is only half of a sheet. And this is the one that I use, Light Easy Steam 2 by Pellon. All of the fusible products, they all work the same. So just whichever one you have on hand is the one, just go ahead and use. It's all the same. So you take your templates that you've made and trace around it onto your fusible webbing. Now this is just one way of doing this. It's not the only way. I will go over another method in a moment. So then when you go to cut this out, you don't want to cut right on the lines you traced on. You want to go out 1/4 of an inch and cut your pieces out. Then on the back of your fusible webbing, there is instructions on how to fuse it on. So I'm not going to go over all of that because the details are very good, so it's not going to be difficult to do. You're just going to need a hot iron with steam. And so what you're doing is you've put this onto fabric, you're going to take that fabric and fuse it onto your background fabric. So here is a pillow that I was working on, and I'm going to go over how to do this kind of an edge in a moment, but I want you to look closely at my gnome because I was not happy with the way my applique stitching went out. I had one of those days where none of my sewing machines were working correctly. One of them just broke down altogether. And the other machine that I have is not my favorite machine to do applique stitching on. I never like how it comes out. So I was struggling. I would have preferred to have used the satin stitch, but it was coming out really bad. So I used my little seam ripper to remove all of those stitches. And so the edges got really messed up. But I didn't want to scrap this whole thing because I'd already put a lot of work into it. So I wound up keeping it because I wanted to show you some of the mistakes that I made. Number 1, don't sew when you're tired because you can do a lot of stupid mistakes. I'm not going to go into all my stupid mistakes, but I wish I had just put it aside, but I kept plowing through it. One of the reasons why my blanket stitch on here didn't show up very good was that my background fabric was really busy. And so was all of these prints, all very, very busy. That's why my satin stitch would have worked just a little bit better. It would have had a nice barrier. So one of the things I recommend you do before you put a lot of work into a project is take a sample of the fabrics you want to use and do some of the applique stitching on it to see how well it shows up. So here are samples of applique stitches. And this is from another one of my machines, my favorite one that I like to do it on. So this is what this one looked like. This is the blanket stitch. Now my thread selection and my fabric selection, it just all worked. So you can see the stitching and everything just worked great. So on this particular lighter piece of fabric, I chose the red thread, and on this darker piece of fabric, I chose the lighter thread. Now here is one that I did the satin stitch on, and I chose colors of thread that would match the fabric. And these are flowers and leaves I actually cut out of fabric and then fused it on. But so here is the narrow satin stitch. This is narrow, this is medium, this is wide. So the narrow is on the flower and the medium is on the leaves. So when you're doing your applique stitching, to give it some depth and interest, change out the stitching on different areas and it gives it more interest. Now, if this method I just showed you was like overwhelming to you, there is an easier way to do it. So I find that it works on really simple looking shapes and projects, nothing detailed, not with a lot of pieces to it. So this is a simple little heart shape. You can make your heart any shape you want. Trace it onto the underside of your fabric, called the wrong side or not so pretty side. Then on the other side, put some plain fabric on it. Then pin it together and stitch right on top of your drawn lines. Then on this fabric on the back, you separate it from the front fabric and cut a hole in it. And then you turn it front side out. But before you turn it front side out, I almost forgot a little step. Take your scissors and do little clips going in towards the seam around all of the curved edges so that when you turn it front side out, those curved edges just lay really nice. Then go ahead and press it flat and then put it onto your background fabric and then pin it down and stitch it down. And you can use a really pretty applique stitch or just use a straight stitch and stitch close to the edge. One more way to do this same process, instead of using plain fabric, take fusible interfacing, maybe a medium weight, and when you lay it against this fabric, you want to lay it on the pretty side of the fabric. So take the glue side of the interfacing and put it against the pretty side of your applique fabric and then stitch it down. Cut a hole in the interfacing, turn it front side out, then you lay it down and with a hot iron and steam and a little bit of water spraying on it, it fuses right onto your fabric and then you can do whatever stitches you'd like to do. Now, if you don't like to draw, you don't like to trace around anything, I cut all of these flowers and leaves out of fabric and then fused them on. I put them on the fusible web and then placed it on the background. When you're doing applique stitching with multiple layers there, you always want to stitch on the applique pieces that are at the very bottom. And what I mean by that is this leaf is under this flower and a little bit under this leaf. So you stitch that first. Then you go to whatever's on top of that and stitch it down. So you always want to save the pieces that are on the very top, which is this one right here. You save that till last. This is a pillow with a border on it, but it's what I call a little floppy border. So I'm going to show you just how easy this is and how quick it is to do it. So when you're going to put a border on anything, you take your square, you cut 2 pieces of fabric that are the same size, stitch them on, then fold them over and press. Then take 2 more pieces of fabric, stitch them on, fold it out, and press. Then take whatever fabric you want on the back side, lay this down on top, and cut around it. After you've cut the fabric for the back, then lay this on top and stitch around the 4 sides, but leave an opening here. And then you turn it front side out. Then you got to stitch one more time. This time you're going to stitch right along in here in the seam, but leave an opening also here so that you can insert your polyfill stuffing. After you've inserted your stuffing, then stitch this closed and this closed. And that's how you put a floppy border on a pillow. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tip of the week and that you've learned something new. If you're interested in more detailed step-by-step instructions on how to do some of these types of projects, I'm going to have links below your YouTube screen in the description section. So scroll down till you see the word more, click on that word, and that section will expand open and you will see the links appearing. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and make sure you check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.